Hello, everybody, and welcome to our session Start U of G, the final checklist. Thank you so much for joining us this afternoon. Before we dive into today's content, I'd like to take a moment to do a quick land acknowledgement. With great respect, we acknowledge that the university resides on the traditional territories of the Anishinaabe, the lands of the Haudenosaunee, and the treaty lands of the Mississaugas of the Credit. We recognize that today this gathering place is home to many First Nations, Inuit, and Métis people, and acknowledging them reminds us of our relationship to this land where we can all learn and grow together. One of my colleagues is going to put in the Q&A a link to the land acknowledgement page from the University of Guelph, so you can learn a little bit more about land acknowledgements and why we do them. For today's session, we're going to cover a few different topics. So we'll talk about preparing for September, a little bit about independence at university, how to make connections, and then how to make the most of your orientation week. And with me, I've got the orientation team who you will hear from throughout the presentation. Something else that I would like to highlight is that we do have a Q&A section in the Teams Town Hall. So if you have a question throughout the presentation, if you click Q&A, you can type in your question, and then myself or a member of the orientation team will answer your question. You can ask questions at any point throughout the presentation as well. So if something comes to mind, please just ask. We've got lots of folks ready to answer your questions. And now I'm going to turn things over to Jack to talk about preparing for September.
All right. Hello, folks. My name is Jack Fisher. I am the coordinator of orientation programs here at the University of Guelph. I use he, him pronouns, and happy to be talking to you today. So I just want to give you a little bit of it's a couple things to think about as you start getting ready for September, which is just around the corner. I know summer seems like it's been going forever, or maybe it's been very short for you. You might be feeling nervous, unsure, excited, or a mix of many things, and hopefully that's why you're watching this presentation today. So I want to start you with some tips that will get you on the right foot before we jump into some of the actual skills and things you'll need to know. So as you start your university journey here at the University of Guelph, remember to slow down and take everything in because it can go by very quickly. Orientation week is a very intense, high-paced week, but it is only a week. There's lots of stuff to take advantage of and lots of stuff that will hopefully form formative memories and help you build your own place in our community here. And it's okay to feel nervous, scared, or homesick. You won't be alone in that at all. Everybody's feeling the same way. You're in a new place, a new environment. Uh, if you're feeling like the odd one out, you're not. Everybody's feeling the same way. Talk to somebody. I'm sure you'll find some connection point somewhere. Um, so, like I said, you're not alone. Over the next month, many of you will have a moment where you're lost on campus. You need to ask someone for help. Maybe you get on the wrong bus and take an unexpected tour through the city. Maybe you'll feel nervous to say hi to someone next to you in class. Again, everybody's feeling these things. People can be nervous, and that's okay. But we're here to help you. Anything you need, especially during orientation week, when you see the volunteers with the red I Am a Griffin shirts on, feel free to come and talk to any of us. We are more than happy to help you, to answer your questions, and everybody is prepped knowing that you might be feeling nervous or you might not be the person who wants to talk to somebody at the gate. But that's, again, totally okay. Come chat with any of our orientation staff or volunteers. As you start, though, and go through orientation week, we definitely recommend that you be open to new opportunities. Try going to a new club. You can find all of our stuff on Griff Life, and one of our staff will talk about what Griff Life is in a little bit. We've got hundreds of clubs here on campus at the University of Guelph, and with those hundreds of clubs, we have hundreds and hundreds more events that are being run through anything that you can possibly be interested in, whether that's a culture that you're a part of, a special interest that you have, or just you want to get to know other people in your program. Finally, manage your time as you prep for September. Um, if you have to take fewer courses after the first couple weeks of school, that's okay. The sooner you're able to find the strategies you need to manage your time and workload, the better your semester is going to be, the better your year is going to be, and the better your university experience at the University of Guelph is going to be. So we're so happy to see you here. I'm going to pass you over to Kimia, one of our other colleagues, who will start talking to you about how you can be independent in university after just finishing high school.
Hi,
Kimia.
everyone. My name is Kimia. I use she, they pronouns, and I just graduated from the Bachelor of Arts and Science, and I'm part of the START orientation team. I'll be chatting a little bit about independent aspect of university. So in university, you're treated like an adult, which is super exciting. But with that comes independence in a lot of areas. If you're living away from home for the first time, there is a newfound independence around eating, like when, where, what, like cleaning and taking care of yourself. You're also independently in charge of your academic career from this point on. This means that it is up to you to go to class and finish your work and studies. The university does not release your personal information to anyone but you, and this means your parents or supporters cannot call up the school and ask about your grades or if you're going to class. There may also be an adjustment period for you and your family and supporters while navigating this change. This is completely normal, and we're here to help. We're posting some links in the chat to our resources for parents or supporters. I've linked our family and supporters guide and links to our family and supporters welcome session happening virtually today. Now I'm passing it to Ricky.
Hi, everyone. My name's Ricky. My pronouns are he, him, and they, them. I'm in the Bachelor of Arts and Science for Biology and Family and Child Studies. Today, I want to talk to you about making connections at university, which is super important. If you're feeling a little nervous or overwhelmed about making friends, know that you're not alone. This is a completely normal feeling to have entering into university. One of the best things about starting university is that almost everyone is in the same boat and looking to meet new people. My biggest piece of advice is to approach people and just start a conversation. For example, during my boogie practice for pep rally, I introduced myself to someone in my residence and we attended pep rally together as a group. It felt a little bit awkward at first because I didn't know them and I was also super nervous, but that person has been one of my closest friends for over 7 years. So I recommend you take a chance. If you are living on campus, residence is an excellent place to make friends. If you have a roommate, consider attending events and activities together to get to know one another. If you're in a single dorm, leaving your door open if you feel comfortable is a great way to encourage casual information to pass between neighbors or introductions. Participating in activities organized by your resident assistant is another great way to meet people on your floor or in your area. If you are living off campus, you should have been added to the off-campus Griffin's Nest on Griff Life. This online space is perfect for meeting other off-campus students and learning about campus resources. If you haven't already, post an introduction on the channel, meet new students and that have formed group chats and are happy to add others. During orientation week, Griffin's Nest facilitators will also be meeting up with off-campus students and attending events with them. This is a really low pressure way to make friends and connect with upper year students as well. Another great way to meet people is through classes and your seminars and labs. Trying to sit next to a new student in each class for a few weeks and introducing yourself to the folks that you sit beside. You can also connect with others through clubs and student organizations and intramural sports. During orientation, the Central Students Association hosts Subs and Clubs, an event where campus sets up booths for new students to join. There's also a clubs fair in fall. Many academic programs have their own clubs as well. And I'm a member of CFRU 93.3 FM and the campus and community radio station. And I learned about this club during one of the club fairs in fall. And that's how I was able to meet some of my closest friends. We co-produced 2 shows, Dust Prints on Mondays from 5 to 6 p.m. and CFRU Live, where we put on live bands and we interview them. So when I first started volunteering, I didn't know, we didn't know one another, which made the experience really exciting and a little bit nerve-wracking. But through our shared experience and the things that we were passionate about, which is local live music and volunteering with CFRU, had helped me to build those long-lasting friendships. and many of those connections extended well beyond the station. This year, I want to join the rock climbing club to make more friends. I'm actually going to now hand it off to Will, who will talk to you guys about Griff Life.
Yeah, hi everyone. So my name is Will. I'm starting my 5th year here at the university in the Bachelor of One Health program with a minor in chemistry, and I work on the orientation team here at UFG. So I'm going to show you a little bit about Griff Life, so you can be a little bit more of an expert by the time a week starts. So what is Griff Life? So it's an online platform that we use to display and advertise events and student clubs across campus, events hosted by student clubs across campus. So this is really, really helpful, especially during a week. There's over 300 different events that are happening throughout the 6 or so days, 6 to 8 days, I think, during a week. So it's really helpful to sort of sort between those, find what you really want to go out and get involved in. So on the homepage, which you should see on your screen, there's 2 tabs you really want to look at, which is the events tab and the groups tab. So events will let you filter, we'll sort of show you an events list for what's going on campus, let you sort through dates, times, categories in there. The groups tab will let you search for specific clubs or organizations. And this could be a good place to start, especially if you're looking for like specific events hosted by those groups. So first, we'll cover sort of how you can search for events in Griff Life using the Events tab. So if you click on Events, it'll take you to a homepage like this one you're seeing on the screen, which will show all of the active events going on campus. And so this will let you view all of the events. But if you look for a week, if you're looking for events during a week, you can search for the 4th to 12th. So that's orientation week for this year. This will filter to events that are only happening during a week. You can also use this to find events that are times that you're free, times you're available, events you're interested in. And again, there's over 300 different events running during a week, from some really small sort of social events to like huge things like our concerts or the pep rally, which we'll get into later. So we're confident that everybody will be able to find at least a few events that are something that's interesting for you. Once you find an event you're interested in, so for example, this is GriffFest, which is one of the big concerts that we run during a week. This site will show you all of the important information you're looking for. This includes your date and time, the event location, if there's a cost to participate, which most events during a week are actually free to attend. But for events throughout the year, if there's a ticket cost or a cost to participate, any other relevant details. So on this one, you can see that there's food available through food trucks and such that are going to be here. And if there's an RSVP to attend the event, you can also sign up through this page. With all this information on the Griff Life site, you can actually use this to plan which events you want to attend. And one of my coworkers is going to talk a little bit later about how to plan out a schedule. But this website is active all year round. It'll show events happening throughout the school year, and you'll probably use it if you want to join clubs and stuff. So it's great to learn a little bit how to use it now. With the large number of events, it can feel kind of overwhelming to scroll through. So another great option is to use the Groups tab to search for events and look through all the different organizations that exist here on campus. So you can use this to search for different categories or different organizations to find something you're really interested in. So take notes, go look at this list, take notes on clubs that look interesting to you. So look, maybe if you're in a specific program, look for your student organization, like the Accounting Students Association or the Psychology Society. If they're running an event, or you might find a club that's got an interest like you, like board games or musical theater. If you're interested in something like that, again, go have a look, see if there's something that's up your alley. Once you know what's really interesting to you, go back to the events tab. You can also search for any of the events that these organizations might be running during a week. And if you find a club, they're not necessarily running an event, but you still be able to find their contact information in their Griff Life page. Get in contact with somebody from their group. But a lot of them are running events as well throughout a week. So have a look, see if they are. With that, I hope this has helped you to learn a little bit more about Griff Life, how it works. And I'm going to pass it off to Nate, who's going to show you a little bit about how to create a schedule for your orientation week.
Awesome. Thanks, Will. Hi, folks. My name is Nate. I use he and him pronouns, and I'm in my 4th year in the Bachelor of Computing program. So as we're kind of talking about scheduling for a week, thinking back to my 1st year, I remember being super excited, and I know that I wanted to join a ton of events, but I was having trouble keeping track of them all until I made a schedule on Griff Life. So we are going to talk about how you can do that as well so that you can remember all the events you want to attend and show up to them all. So a great way to keep track of your events is to enter them into a calendar. It could be either a digital or a handwritten calendar, whatever you prefer. But there's a kind of fun shortcut if you're using a Google or Outlook calendar. You can add things, you can add events to your calendar directly from Griff Life. So when you open an event on Griff Life, you'll see an option to add it to Google Calendar or Outlook. And once you click it, it all will automatically go into your calendar, which is pretty cool. Another thing that's good to know is when you RSVP for an event or register for an event on Griff Life, you also have a schedule that's directly built into the Griff Life website and the app that you can go back and check later. And that will also show you everything that you've registered for, which is super useful. So when you're planning your schedule, I recommend that you first add kind of the major programming that's going on during a week. So that would be things like Block Party on Saturday, GriffFest on Sunday, Academic Orientation Day on Tuesday, the Pep Rally on Wednesday. These are some of the events that most of our new students will probably attend, and they're super fun as well. So I highly do recommend that you attend them. And once you've added kind of the major events that you're interested in, then I recommend going through at kind of what Will was talking about, looking for smaller events or organizations that you're interested in and checking out those events as well. So I'm in computer science, so I was looking for some events for students in my program. So I looked for events that were hosted by SOCUS, which is the computer science club here. And I found some and I registered. So that was pretty cool. I could do a little bit of planning in advance, but also throughout a week, I would check the events that were happening every morning and then show up to ones that I was interested in as well. So that's another cool thing about a week is most events you don't have to RSVP for, you can just show up. Although many of the events are fun and exciting, and you might want to attend every single one, I do recommend you to pace yourself and kind of take breaks. And if you want to kind of do what I did and go to a lot of orientation events, you can always also kind of pop into an event for a short period of time. You don't necessarily have to stay for the whole thing. It's important to be mindful of your capacity and make sure you have at least time to fuel your body up with food and take breaks in between events. If you have friends, roommates, or people from your program that you already know, you can also plan your schedules together if you want to attend a week as a group. I'll pass it off to Sadia, who's going to talk about some of the different type of events during orientation week.
Hi everyone, my name is Sadia and my pronouns are she and her, and I recently completed my undergrad in biomedical science with a minor in neuroscience. And I'm going to be talking about the different types of events that happen during a week. So coming to university is a different experience for everyone, and it can feel overwhelming at first. It definitely did for me. And I found the campus pretty huge to navigate. And I didn't even know anything about a week when I first got here. So just like knowing what a week's about is what I'm going to be talking about today. So I'll be breaking down a week events so it all feels a little bit less big. The great thing about a week is that there are going to be so many people who can support you throughout the whole week and your whole time at the university. This year we have about more than 300 events happening that you can choose from. And to make it less overwhelming, I'm going to break all of these down into categories. So firstly, we have major events. Major events are large-scale events that are staff-run at the university, and all incoming university students are highly encouraged to attend. So some major events include GriffFest, Block Party, CSA Clubs and Subs, and Pep Rally. Another major event is Academic Orientation Day, which is run both by staff and faculty at University of Guelph, and we'll be talking about more about academic orientation later in this session. The second type of programming in O Week is called open programming, and these are events that are typically smaller in size and that are run by student groups, so basically clubs, college governments, and campus organizations. They make up the bulk of O Week. So if you go on to Griff Life, you'll see a lot of events, and they're probably run by different clubs on campus. So if you're coming to UFG with a hobby or interest, you will definitely find an event that lines up with it, and you can pick and choose what you want to go to or try dropping into as many as possible and as many as you can make it to. Like I said before, Griff Life is probably the best tool to see what's happening. So you can check all the events that are happening there. And even if you're on campus with some free time, there's almost always something happening. So if you're ever in Johnson Green, you'll probably see some sort of event happening there. So there's no shortage of activities. So we have painting, tie-dye, scavenger hunts, athletic events, bracelet makings, and so much more. So there's something for everyone, and that's the best part. Just different kind of open programming that happens during O Week as well. So we have academic-based programming that is run by college governments or academic clubs. For example, the Marketing Management Society, the Guelph Engineering Society, or the History Society. So these are more academic-focused clubs, and students running these events can help you learn more about your program or college and tell you how to get involved in your college or just give you helpful academic tips. Housing events are run by residents staff, so they help you integrating into your living community. So your RAs will probably take you to a lot of events, and they will also have a lot of meetings and socials during a week. We also have programming for off-campus students to build community as well. So off-campus events are run by our off-campus living advisor and our off-campus university student groups, which is called OCUS, and Griffin's Nest facilitators. Identity-based programming is made for students who want to participate in events or get involved in groups that align with their identity. So we have many identity-based groups running events. For example, we have the Guelph Black Student Association, the Sexual and Gender Diversity Office, Guelph Campus Ministry, and the Middle Eastern Student Association. So these are more focused on identities, and they run more identity-based programs. We also have many events to provide resources for students that are available on campus. So, for example, this year we have the Griffin's Athletics Open House. We have the Resource Fun Fair. We also have the Student Wellness Fair and the Multi-Faith Resource Fair. So these are all fairs where they'll be talking about different resources on campus, just so that you're equipped with all the resources that exist on campus and how easily accessible they are. That was a lot of information, but the main message is that you can get whatever you wish out of your O Week experience, and there's a lot happening, and there's so many events to choose from. So you'll have plenty of opportunities to try something new, meet new people, and maybe even pick up some free food along the way. Next slide. I'll be talking about Friday and Saturday now. So Friday and Saturday are the day most students at UFG are moving in. So once you're moved in, we have programming happening on both nights. So on Friday, each residence community, for example, North, South, and East, will be holding a speed friending event where you can meet new friends from your residence communities. Saturday is another move-in day with the official O Week kickoff. So some of the big things happening are the off-campus kickoff and dinner social for students living off campus, and the CSA block party, which is a great way to meet people, enjoy music, and kick off the week with some energy. So the CSA block party is a major event, and it's a great way to kick off the orientation week. There'll also be wayfinding stations starting on Saturday, which will help you navigate campus and if you have any questions. Now I'll pass it on to Ricky, who will be talking more about the events happening on Sunday.
So next up is Sunday, September 6th. This is the first day folks will be settling into campus and into Guelph. All day there will be community socials running for both off-campus and resident students. For off-campus students, OCUS, meaning off-campus university students, will be hosting a scavenger hunt to get you acquainted with campus and an outdoor social for students to meet and play lawn games together. We posted info about that in the chat if you want to find them on Griff Life. For students living on campus, check with your resident assistant and look on Griff Life for hall-specific events. So for example, I was in East Village at my first year, and this year East Village on Sunday is hosting a painting and mocktails event, and South residents will be having a Sunday morning cartoons event. The biggest event of the day is Griffest. There will be inflatables, food trucks, a welcome banner craft, lawn games, and live music, and much more. We have amazing local musicians joining us, including Red Output, Minutia, Kavisha, The Free Label, and the OBGMs. To get home from Griffest, there is a late night charter, which is designed for off-campus students to get them back to their houses on Sunday night. I'm going to pass it off to Kimia, who will talk about Monday.
So on Monday, September 7th, many different campus clubs and societies will be holding events. If you want to get involved after a week, this is the day to explore your options. The largest event on Monday is Subs and Clubs. You can join other students at lunchtime for a meal hosted by Central Student Association, or CSA, and many of their over 200 student clubs. It is a great way to learn about what clubs there are and how to get involved after a week. And after that, you can join your off-campus or residence community for an afternoon of community-focused programming. There will also be an Olympics event for off-campus university students taking place at the same time. In the evening, there are also activities to choose from that run until 10 p.m. Some highlights include the Consent Carnival, which will have games, giveaways, cotton candy, and popcorn. The major evening event is Sexy Bingo, which is run by a local drag queen and is a fun and often really popular event with plenty of prizes that help to smash stigma around sex. It is free to attend and open to all students. A free late night charter bus will be provided for those living off campus in Guelph. You can get home safe without stress. And I'm passing it to Nate for Tuesday's schedule.
Awesome. Thanks, Kimia. On Tuesday, September 8th, that is Academic Orientation Day. So I would recommend that everyone go check your Outlook for your schedule because it will really depend on your program. Academic Orientation Day is run by both staff and faculty at the university to help you get connected with your college. So it's kind of the kickoff to all of your university academics. You'll spend the day with faculty, staff, and classmates that are in your program and learn everything there is to know about your academic program. So like I said, every major and degree has a slightly different schedule. So keep an eye on your email for more information for all of your different activities, where they're happening, the start times, what time you're going to be eating. It'll start as early as 9 a.m. And end as late as 2 p.m. with most students will be spending 3 to 4 hours with other students in their program. Some of the things that you'll do is attending a degree meeting. So advisors will tell you all about your degree and your college. You might also attend a major meeting and mingle for your particular program or major and meet other students within your program. You'll also attend the induction of scholars, which is kind of like a reverse graduation. So you'll be invited to the event center to get an official welcome to the university by the chancellor, the president, and other high-ranking university staff to kind of officially kick off your academic journey at U of G. An example schedule is going to your degree meeting, and then you might head to your major meeting and mingle, and then the induction of scholars. And then you also get to go attend your free lunch with your college, which is super fun. And again, a great opportunity to meet other folks that are in your program. And then there's a few other events that will be running on this day, including the Room Burn and Start Skills. And I'll pass it off to Will to talk about Wednesday.
Hi again. So moving on to the September 9th, which is Wednesday of orientation week. So this is a day with a lot of events going on all throughout the day. So starting off, some students in Bachelor of Science, Bachelor of Commerce, Landscape Architecture, or the Diploma in Turfgrass Management will still have some Academic Orientation Day activities happening on Wednesday. A lot of Tuesday and Wednesday is also spent preparing you to get ready for your first day of classes at the University of Guelph, which is September 10th. So that's Thursday of orientation week. And on this theme, I'm actually presenting at a Start Skills session getting ready for your first day of classes, which is at 1 p.m. on Wednesday. So this will give you some important reminders and information before starting classes, covering all things academics, course outlines, schedules, how to get good deals on textbooks, and quite a bit more. I could sit here for quite a while actually talking about events that are happening on Wednesday, but a few honorable mentions here. Transfer student orientation at 12 o'clock. There's an athletics open house, club fair, job fair that's happening from 12 to 4. And one of the college governments is running a big water balloon fight happening on Johnston Green, I believe. So don't miss some of those. And then, of course, the big sort of highlight, time-honored tradition of Wednesday evening is pep rally. So this has been held over 25 years here at the university. It is at 7 p.m. at the stadium. It is best described as ultimate hype competition between the different residences and off-campus communities. So before this event, you want to stop by your boogie practice, which is, these are on Wednesday at 5 p.m. The location will depend on if you're off campus or if you're with the residence group, which residence group. You can find more information about this on Griff Life. But this is where you'll practice your residence or communities. You'll have a specific dance or boogie that you'll practice. And yeah, I think one of my colleagues will put in the chat where some of the locations for those are. You also get a free T-shirt. I forgot to wear it today, but I actually still have mine from Lambton Hall from first year, which is where I was. But each of the halls has their own one from Interhall Council, and you'll learn your hall specific dance from your IHC, Interhall Council executive, or resident staff. And then you will move as a group to the stadium to perform. And it's a big group, and they're all cheering. It's a big hype competition, I guess is a good description. If that is not your jam, and for some people it definitely isn't, we're also hosting a bit more of a chill event called Griff Zen Dens. This is in the University Center courtyard around the same time. It's at 7 p.m. We're doing a movie night. We'll have some craft activities. We'll have some Legos for building, and some prizes available from that as well. So if that's your jam, check that out. It's also on Griff Life with all the details. That's all for Wednesday. I can't wait to see some of you all perform at Pep Rally. But I'm going to pass it over to Ricky to chat about Thursday.
Hi, folks. I just wanted to start by reminding folks, if they have a question, to please put it in the chat so that we can try to answer them. Okay, Thursday marks your first day of classes. I know Thursday is kind of a weird day to start classes, but I like to think of it as a mini 0 week. It's a great time to get a sense of campus, look around, get acclimatized to the change of scenery while figuring out everything. Of course, alongside your classes, we still have a bunch of events going around campus that are super fun. For Thursday, I'd like to highlight the Resource Fun Fair in Brainium Plaza. It runs from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. and it's an emphasis on the fun. There's going to be a bunch of campus resources. You'll know the different types of places you can check in for resources through campus, and there's going to be a lot of fun activities for you to try. There will also be loads and tons of events on Johnston Green. You can do tote bag making, painting, play spike ball, grab food at Munch and Mingle with cultural diversity, enjoy some liquid nitrogen ice cream, or check out the Interhall Council Backyard Bash. Plenty of ways to meet people and take breaks in between classes on this day. And passing it off to Will, who will talk about the last couple of days for a week.
Yeah. So Friday, September 11th, this is almost the end of the week. There's still quite a few things happening on these last few days on Friday and Saturday. So a week is not quite over yet. It's also a great time if you have supplies you need to grab for a class, if you have textbooks you need to get for a class. Also to find if there's clubs or student groups you've met throughout the week that you want to join more events for. You can find some of them. So a few highlights from each day on Friday. The Lang Students Association Summer Games Day is happening at 12 o'clock. The Guelph Black Students Association Carnival Cookout. This is a big one on Johnston Green in the afternoon. And CSA's Just Relax Comedy Show. Again, this is from the Central Students Association. on Friday evening. It's a comedy show that they're hosting for the first time, I believe. And then on Saturday, if he wants to highlight, there's a big football game that's happening on Saturday. You might want to come out to. Again, those are free to attend throughout the week. And IHC, which is Inter-Hall Council, is hosting a drag brunch on Saturday morning as well. And with that, that is the end of orientation week. It's coming to an end. And you'll be jumping into all of your classes full-time starting on Monday. And hopefully you're well prepared by this point, but there's still a lot to adjust to. And I'm going to pass it over to Janessa to go over a few final reminders about starting a semester.
Thank you, Will. And I just want to give everyone a heads up that we are almost done with today's presentation. So if you do have any questions, right now is the time to post those in the Q&A. So as we wrap up, there's a couple important things for you to consider and think about as we get closer and closer to September. Whether you're moving into residence or into a house off campus, if you are moving, you'll want to create a packing list. For those of you that are moving into residence, Student Housing Services provides a great packing list on their website that includes some things that you should and should not bring with you to residence. And if you're moving in off campus, start thinking about the things that you might need for your apartment. Now, for everyone, something you should think about are the important dates and deadlines that are coming up. Online on our University of Guelph website, we have what's called the schedule of dates. This is where they post important dates like when classes start, when the university is closed for holidays, so there aren't any classes, when exams start and end, or that exam period. So you'll want to start adding those to your calendar, whether you keep a paper planner or use Google Calendar or something like that. So take some time to figure out what those important dates are, put them in a calendar so that as things really get busy in September, you're not losing track of those important dates. I know we've spent a lot of time talking about your orientation week and Griff Life. So after this, take some time to go through that schedule and figure out what are the events that you really want to go to? What are the ones that you're kind of interested in that you might want to register for and go to, and start building that orientation week schedule. I highly recommend that you download the Griff Life app onto your phone so that it's super convenient. And when you're going around campus, you've got that with you. And one final reminder about a very important date that comes up in September is paying your tuition. So the deadline to pay your fall tuition is September 18th. And it's important that you take some time now to figure out how you're going to pay your tuition, because it does take a few business days for that to show up in your account. So while the deadline is September 18th, you'll want to make sure that you're sending payment a few business days in advance, because it can take some time for your bank to process and then for the university to receive it and apply it to your account. So make sure that you're planning ahead so that you know how you're paying that, and aren't scrambling last minute to make that payment. Now that brings us to the end of today's presentation. I am just going to take a look at the Q&A to see if there are any questions that have come through. And I see we've got a couple. So we've had some questions about Start International and if it's okay to come a little bit late. And as long as you're registered, you're all good. That is okay. We know a lot of folks have different travel plans, so all good there. And then another question, since Thursday is the first day of regular classes, does this mean labs run as well? If so, is there anything I need, such as personal lab equipment to have? And usually you won't have labs during the first week, but check your course outline and course link to be sure. So as we get closer to that first day of classes, your professor will start releasing more information on course link. So check there for the most accurate and up-to-date information. And then On the first day of classes, do we attend the classes that are on Thursday as if it was a regular week? And yes, check your course outline on CourseLink, but you would be basically following your Thursday schedule for that day. And yeah, quite a few questions about that, but you're following the Thursday schedule for that day. Let's see if there's anything else that has come in. I think we are all caught up on the questions. If after today's presentation you still have some questions, you can always email our team at start@uoguelph.ca. And myself or anyone that was on this call with us today will be happy to get back to you with an answer. And if we aren't the person with the answer, we will connect you with the right person who can provide you with the best information. So that brings us to the end of today's presentation. We encourage you to check out our new student website, startufg.ca. That's where you'll find some of the links like the list of major events for orientation week, your academic orientation week schedule, and recordings of this presentation, as well as our past presentations. Like I said, if you have a question and you're not sure where to start, you can email us at the address listed on the screen. You can also get in touch with our Student Experience Department by calling 519-824-4120, extension 52214. And I really hope you follow us at Student Experience on social media. We'll be posting a lot of highlights during orientation week, as well as reminders about some of those major events. So please follow us on social media and stay connected that way. And we can't wait to welcome you in September. So thank you so much for joining today's presentation. I do see a couple questions that were just posted in the chat. So before we hop off, I'll make sure that those get answered. But when might the course outlines be posted? Those will usually be posted a couple days before classes start. So keep checking back as your professors start releasing information. You'll be able to see more and more of that. So keep checking, and even sort of the evening before your first classes, check CourseLink for that. And one of my classes has no scheduled meeting time. When should I expect to see a meeting time? And that one might depend. If your course has DE in it, that stands for distance education. So it could be an online course. So we recommend that you check that course sort of code. And if it has DE, you're online. If you have other questions about your course and you're not sure where it is, feel free to get in touch with us. Okay. That brings us to the end of our time here today. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us. We can't wait to see you at orientation week. And until then, see you later and have a good afternoon, everyone. Bye.